Welcome back to Talking Through Your Kick in the break. The boys were talking about our life on the punt, which I think, Nick, you described it as the
cause and solution to all of life's problems, to steal a line off Homer Simpson.
And you then regaled your story of some 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah, quick one. 20 years ago, a horse called a Foggy Night, a grey horse at Belmont, one of my favourite places. 14-1, got the cash, and for my age, I had a reasonable amount on each
50
way.
each way.
50 each way, 14-1. So at the time, nice collect. Protest fourth against first, nearly an hour later, upheld. I went back to fourth, didn't even get the each way money, went to McDonald's, ate 6 hamburgers, and nearly collapsed on the floor. That was, I call them Depression Big Macs.
Feel free to...
Depression Big Macs.
Feel free to outdo us all.
That's called heaven to hell on a stick.
I tell you what, heaven to hell happens, and I was interested to see Glenn Boss's reaction to Ocean Park a couple of starts ago. Of course, he thought this horse will win everything, la la la. He was excited to win on the weekend, Nick, but as we looked through the race, I reckon it was more relief than excitement. That's him third on the outside, making the move in the red cap. Watch for Alco Pop running behind in the green and Sincero in the black and white.
A few people have said this was a disappointing win because he was such a short price favourite and probably didn't win like you'd hope a $1.60 shot would win. But I really liked the way he hit the line the last 200. I think he was doing his best work late. I think he'll be even better suited come Cox Plate Day. And I can understand why Glenn Boss is so excited about him.
But Bossy's jumped off him, hasn't he?
No, he's riding Ocean Park.
No, Ocean Park.
Oh,
There was conjecture.
Sorry,
There's conjecture, but he stayed. I thought it was a good win. Sincero's more of a dasher for the miler. Came up outside it. I think the horse is in great shape, Ocean Park.
Big gear change for Sincero going towards the Cox Plate. He gets the blinkers on, and I think that sharpens him up. I think it can improve him slightly, and I wouldn't be surprised if he can turn the tables on.
Can any of those horses going up again? Well, Sincero seemed to be had every chance. Alco Pop's got bigger fish to fry. Can any of those horses turn the table, say, on a green moon?
No.
Ooh, I think they're probably... Ocean Park, he's right in the race, and I think Sincero's right in the race. I think it's a very, very open Cox Plate. A Green Moon's probably above them, but I wouldn't be completely ruling
The two
out.
rides for Ocean Park, though. Suck rails run previous, and that was one out, one back in a slowly run race. You're not going to get two better rides than that, are you?
Yeah, but you're going to get a lot more tempo probably in a Cox Plate, which will suit this horse better, and I think he'll hit the line strongly.
What about this from profits.com or profits.com, whatever? I absolutely hated Boss and Dunn celebrating before the post today, but seriously, $1,000 and 400. Quinny, you go to the stewards' inquiries and read the reports. $1,000 and 400 for a $1 million race where their sling is, what, 50,000?
So the profits.com.au saying don't find them at all or find them properly is, I'm guessing, what he's saying. Geez, I thought Bossy could have almost protested the fine, couldn't he? I thought it was after the line that he started celebrating. It's funny because we complain.
Your eyes painted on. He went up about 10 yards before the post.
How do they come up with 1,000 or 400?
Sorry, Dwayne Dunn's, I should say. Dwayne Dunn's was after the post. But I mean, we complain that we want our jockeys to show personality, and then they show personality and we find them and complain.
I saw Michael Rodd do one like this, the Melbourne Cup. That was to more my liking. I don't mind the fist
What
bump.
about the big smile that he normally does to the camera when he's on Atlantic Jewel and he can just sit up?
What about Corey? Just give a little one of those and got fined.
Well, that was because Corey hadn't ridden a Group 1 in 12 months. I think that was...
I think the fines are jokes.
Well, so's the...
Absolute
But
jokes.
They've got to do something about it, though, the stewards, because you can't have a jockey celebrating and causing interference. And I know this is happening at the elite level, but they start having it filtering down and jockeys celebrating in smaller races.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And then you put someone over the fence because you're celebrating, and the horse, you don't have two hands on the reins. I can see why the stewards are doing it, but $1,000 is a bit of a slap.
Ben Barber going to get fined for twirling the finger before he scores a try.
Yeah, but it's a little bit different.
Brenny Boy, the fun police.
No, I'm not. I love seeing him do it, but I can understand why the stewards do it, because Ben Barber twiddling his fingers is not going to do anything to anyone else on the park. But
what is
Glenn Boss doing that, and the horse ducks out.
One.
Yeah, she's apples.
She's apples. Here's an email with Ocean Park and Green Moon, seemingly the best of the older WFA weight for age horses. Will we ever have a top line older weight for age galloper being bred, raised and trained in Australia again? Because a lot of ours, as soon as they hit 3, you go to the stud. I was looking at some of the recent births and they're all first season sire. So I'm going, well, why aren't you running anymore?
Well, there's so much money in the breeding industry. We've just got to hope a couple of good geldings come across, because that's when we see good, tough weight for age horses. But a lot of them have been colts and fillies in the last couple of years.
The World Shuttle Service, Stallion Shuttle Service, has made sure that that'll be very few and far between from being produced
If you
here.
owned a horse and I mean, we're punters, and if we owned a horse that was decent, would you succumb to the breeding?
I'd be selling. If someone offered me big money, I'd put a bow on it and say, here you go. What would you? So many things can go wrong with it.
Exactly.
Oh, mate, take the money while you can.
Exactly.
Well,
Restore some faith in them.
Once again, Brent's logic overrules the heart. But geez, I was almost depressed when Lonhro retired because I thought he was just doing his best racing. I would have loved to have seen him go around another season. But it's very hard to argue with the money, and they can break down.
Lonhro still had 30-something starts. He raced right through his career. You know, plenty of horses get pulled up after 3.
What about All Too Hard being another Lonhro?
Big rap from the Hawks camp, but well, he's won a Caulfield Guineas. He's got up to a mile, and
he's made all of us who said he wouldn't win a Group 1. Eat our blokes like you. Eat your humble pie. No, I said it. I'm just
said improve in Melbourne. She's improved, all right.
Exactly. I'd never leave Melbourne if I was All Too Hard. Just stay down there.
Just a great city, Melbourne. Russ.
Beautiful city.
Isn't it, Quinny?
The Herbert Power. What about this horse? Shawadi just went bang in the Herbert Power. Apparently is so fizzy. Had to be out the back, and they brought him in late, and he got a pony, was let onto the course early. That's him running last with Karen McAvoy on board. This was impressive.
Must be good.
But it ain't going to get the same favours on Melbourne Cup Day.
No, but
it's got to stick around there for an hour.
But it gets an extra 1,200 metres and a bigger track, which I can imagine it's going to really appreciate.
It's going to be in the mounting yard for 40 minutes, though. So if it's fizzy on that day, it'll be off its head.
You have to remember this horse has only just come out of quarantine too, so it's got a little bit more time. It's got another 3 weeks to settle into its new surroundings. But really like the way it attacked the line. Really, really nice run. The performance of Gatewood.
Outstanding.
Was fantastic. The circumstances just didn't play out for the horse, but clearly shows that these internationals have got some talent because he wasn't the highest rated one to come here, and he's come out and done that.
Appreciate the speed, didn't he?
I got a tweet from someone, Uncle Mick, the person's name was, and they said the scary thing is he's a third stringer over in France, which is just frightening when the fact that he can't get near the likes of Tactor Boystrom and Briganton.
He ran a place behind them, but he's a minor place getter as opposed to those other two that are winners. But that's the best 1.5 mile win I've seen in Caulfield for a long time.
Exactly, and it just reinforces how strong these overseas horses are going to be. And really, is it a mission impossible for the Australians to win the race this year?
Oh, it is.
Well,
it is
a lucky day. You mentioned Gatewood. We had a tweet on our Twitter address at TVNTTYK, and I do have to catch up this person. They got it slightly wrong. Looking at his ride on Gatewood, it's no wonder Corey had gone more than a year without riding a Group 1 winner.
I sent that.
Well, that's actually incorrect, wasn't it?
Well-known breeder sent that.
Who rode Solzhenitsyn?
Corey Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, be saying prior to that.
No, he rode one 45 minutes earlier.
Come on, he's 45 minutes to that. But
that is a very unfair tweet.
Yeah, it wasn't one of Corey Brown's best rides. He was
victim of circumstance. Let's have a look at where you got on
Gatewood.
But
I think if he stayed to the fence, he would have got the run because he was right on the back of Einstein. He was on the back of Einstein. And Einstein picks up the gap on the fence.
White cap.
He's white cap with a baldy face. Having
the
look.
But
prior to that was the damage was done at about the 800 metre mark. The damage was done. Look at the gap back to the inside Einstein. If he stayed towards the fence, which is a big gamble, because at the time you never know if the fence doesn't open up. But the way the race panned out, if he stayed where he was, he probably would have got the run.
Whatever horse 14 was, that was the slow horse. It came right back in his face, and he just got into all sorts.
I don't
know what it was. It was 14.
It was a case of whatever could have gone wrong did go wrong, though. It was just he went one way and then he missed the opportunity.
Guns of fire, it was.
Guns of fire is a problem, yeah.
But I wasn't on that, but I was on the other ones that fell back.
But serious horse, Gatewood. Boys, where are they going, these horses? Geelong, mainly?
Gatewood's got to qualify.
Yeah, it has to qualify.
Hearing that it'll go to Geelong.
Yep.
But there's a chance it could get a start still in the Caulfield Cup on Saturday. So the field will be decided in the next couple of days as they've got to squeeze it into 18. If it gets a run, I think they may run, but looking towards Geelong.
They're not going to do the whole VATC Victoria Racing Club pluck one out and put it into. Are they for the Caulfield Cup? You've got to be.
There's an order of entry, but there's a few horses that are all on the same.
Yeah, but can they pick one and say
they've never done it before, though?
Yeah, but they have to this week because the order of entry. There's too many horses.
What will Glen Cadham Gold start on the day now?
Yeah, $4 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe $4. Been well supported, $3.60. December draw, rock solid 6. Duneden's the big firmer.
Yeah.
There's some very good bets we've written
very
there.
well this
Worked
morning.
terrifically, into $10. Been shortening for a week. Southern Speedball, Aichi 12. Americane still backable, I feel, even though it's shortened at 13. They're the longer price ones. A bit for my quest for peace, 21 down to 16.
Now to be ridden by Corey Brown.
Indeed so. Shawadi there at 17. But Dunedin is the big mover.
And where does this Caulfield Cup rate in, well, you've seen plenty of them?
I think it's one of the strongest in years, to be perfectly honest. I think it's, last year we saw Southern Speed and Green Moon run the Quinella, and that form's been franked by the fact Green Moon could easily win this year's Cox Plate. Southern Speed, if you ignore last run, has returned in fantastic order as well. So this year's even stronger.
But what we're going to say now is that the Caulfield Cup worth two big boys. The Frenchies are coming down and say, well, pick up the Caulfield Cup with our second stringer, then we'll go and get the big guns into the Melbourne Cup. Neil, take us through your tips for the Caulfield Cup, bearing in mind we don't know the final field, so we're sticking the yards out here.
We don't, but Americane, I like the fact this horse, back in French hands, I think the Cup's double for Americane. I like it here, ahead of December Draw and Glencaddam Gold.
I'm going for December Draw. I've been on this horse right through the start of preparation for the Caulfield Cup, and I think it'd be very hard to beat. Dunedin to run second and Glencaddam Gold for third.
I'm going December Draw as well. I'm a little bit of a romantic Brenny boy, as you'd be well aware. And December Draw broke down in the race last year, and it'd be a fantastic training effort if Kavanagh got him back to win the race. And it's been a bit of a bogey race for Cav. We know what happened with Maldivian a few years ago. December Draw last year, so it'd be great to see him get the chocolates this time in. And
I'm going to stick the neck out and go with Dunedin from December Draw. Any horse that wins the Melbourne Cup and backs up and is $10 in the Caulfield Cup the following year. Thanks for coming.
You didn't a little bit of the $21?
Just got a close up on Nick, and why is he wearing the little jockey's necktie around there on the inside of the shirt? Hopefully we can get a little look at that. What's going on there? Is that little?
It's just the inside of the shirt.
No, that's the shirt.
I thought it was one of those little collar things that the jockeys wear.
Mate, it's a vintage thing.
Melbourne Cup. Let's quickly have a look at that. Mate Athos, who's the top gun everywhere.
Well, I've written a story for the Sportsman that if a couple of these Glencaddam and Green Moon don't push on, the top 10 will be all internationals. Mount Athos first into single figures, supported down to $9. Green Moon's forced its way into the market. Brigantin, since we last spoke, 21 down to 15 support. Red Cadet was backed early. Shawadi's on the board. Dunedin, 21 to 18. They're just queuing up. You talk about Invasion Day last year. This fair income, this will be bigger than June 6, 1944.
This is the best race I've seen at ever of the Melbourne Cup. The Melbourne Cup is
Lucky Day might be the best of the local hopes at $21. There's a lot
of intrigue now. I think it's great that what the international horses add to it. So much puzzle and so much excitement. Where they're going, who's going to get into the race. I think it's fantastic.
Okay, let's take a break here on Talking Through Your Kick. Plenty more to come. Our betting segments later in the show, and we'll get the emails and the tweets and the forum posts as well.